All right. Welcome everybody to the Culture Shock Podcast. This is your boy Pat Bayless, and I'm back in the building with a Long Island legend, three-time NBA champion, national champion, Danny Green. How you doing, Danny Green?
Good, man. Bless. Appreciate you having me on.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have you, man. I'm blessed to have you here. And
Thank
I'm
you.
also here with Danny's friend, Jed. He is a executive producer for Inside the Green Room.
Yeah, not just a
Um,
friend, man. He's a
Yeah,
business.
not just no, absolutely. A businessman, an executive producer, managing partner at the Green Light Ventures. So how you doing, Jed? I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me, man. Always glad to support a Long Island legend. So, and always
Absolutely.
glad to share the stage with my brother. So, thank you for having us.
This is a dope opportunity. All right, I'm gonna start with you, Danny. For anybody that doesn't know you, obviously basketball fans know you and people from Long Island know you, but anybody that's gonna watch the podcast and doesn't know you, just kind of tell them like where you from, and also in that same question, who put the basketball in your hand and what got you started playing basketball?
All right. So I said,
Say that one more time.
Lose me?
Yeah, I lost you.
Did y'all lose me?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I started at a really young age. My dad was always a huge basketball fan, so he put the ball in my hands probably around 2 years old. You know, Fisher Price and stuff like that. I started playing little league around 5, so I started very early. And what was the first part of your question?
Well, just where you were from, where you grew up.
From Long Island, New York. Obviously, fellow Long Islander. Grew up in North Babylon. That's where I was born, and the hospital over there that was out east, Islip.
Mm-hmm.
Over. So yeah, that's where I was born in. But I grew up in North Babylon, New York, and that's where I played most of my sports. Where I grew up love for basketball and football. It's a football town mostly. But my dad put the ball in my hands around 2 years old. So I started playing little league around 5, and then from there, I watched the games, late nights, playoffs, East Coast, West Coast. I watched Michael Jordan a lot. Um, by default, we had watched some of the East Coast teams and the Knicks because my dad's friends were Knicks fans, but we weren't Knicks fans.
You're
But
lucky.
yeah, my grandmother was a Lakers fan. My uncle was a Spurs fan, ironically. So I got a chance to play for both of those teams that were in the family, support already before I even got there. So, and they're all this is a sports family. They're all fans of all the games, but definitely basketball. And had their different teams. So my dad was a Michael Jordan fan. He's a friend of certain players, and probably the Bulls too. But my grandma was a big, huge Magic Johnson fan. So that's why she liked the
Really?
Lakers.
Really?
Hmm.
That's showtime.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. What about you, Jed? Where you from?
The long story short is I spent the majority of my life in Ohio, but
Mm-hmm.
originally my family's from the Middle East and North Africa. But at this point, I've been paying my taxes in New York since 2016. So I think I qualify to say that I'm from New York.
So
Maybe not. I
what
don't know.
in your field, right? What brought you that love? Like what did you know you always wanted to do what you do now, or was it something when you got older you knew what you wanted to do, Jed?
Yeah, no, man. If I look back at my life and I kind of point down the path that I've been down now, I think it definitely wouldn't be a path that I would say I expected to go down, or a path that I even envisioned myself going down. I think I've had a lot of really dope, mentors and folks in my life that have invested in me, similar to Danny and his coaches, his family, his friends. Right? Like, I feel like we're always a product of our circumstances, and I just happen to be a curious person and study the right things, be in the right spaces, and just build the right relationships that led me to where I'm
That's what's up.
at. What
Yeah, I
about you,
think
Pat?
Jed is one of
Me?
those guys. Yeah. What
Go
about you,
ahead.
Pat? What you got?
Me growing up, I mean, just I've always loved basketball. One thing I didn't get to, I was short. So growing up, I grew up in Quorum. So I loved basketball my whole life. Like when I tell you diehard Kobe fan, obviously I got him tatted right here, but diehard Kobe fan, growing up, big Laker fan. I ain't gonna lie, Danny, I hated the Spurs. Hated the Spurs, but
Everybody
it,
did.
yeah, it was one of those things, it was either Kobe or Duncan at that point until LeBron came
Mm.
along. You know what I'm saying? So
It was a rivalry, Spurs and
exactly.
Lakers for a while. So they're the top teams during a stretch. So
Absolutely.
like when you have two top teams, you either pick a side or not. But yeah, that's dope. How long have you been a sports fan for?
Pretty much my whole life. I mean, my dad put me on to basketball. He loved Jordan, but my first basketball card actually was Kobe. So that was
Okay.
like, that's how I fell in love. I started watching him play, and I just like players that are dogs that go at you and they don't take
Hmm.
plays off. So that was always a big inspiration to me. So it's pretty much my whole life. But Getting back to you, Danny, I want to talk about, obviously you were a quarterback at your high school. You played basketball and then you wound up transferring to St. Mary's. What was it like skill gap wise going from North Bab to St. Mary's? Was it really an adjustment? Because your numbers don't say it was an adjustment, but what was the adjustment for?
It was all an adjustment all around. I didn't play much quarterback in my high school because I was a freshman, playing varsity, and you don't really just start. I was like a backup back. I didn't continue to play. I could have been eventually, but you're a freshman, you got to wait your turn. So I played football up until sophomore year. When I transferred, we didn't have a football team, but I played, safety. I played defense too. So I played defense, a little bit of offense. We didn't throw the ball much, but I was like a second or third string backup quarterback at the time. As a freshman. When I got to Mary's, the talent was definitely a gap. We had a lot of talent on Babylon, but the discipline was a huge gap. Just the whole function of the system, of how they operated, how to be a student athlete, having to do your homework every day. It's a Catholic school. You do homework every day or you get academic detention. Got to wear a uniform every day. Make sure I practice. Practice was way different. My coach, I talk about this all the time, Coach Tim Duncan, was probably the hardest coach I ever played for. And the fact that he was a perfectionist, and we did a drill over and over until we got it right, until we got it, perfect damn near. And we practice for hours. We practice for 2 hours. Sometimes we get lunch, come back, practice for another 2 hours, and not get home till 9, 10 p.m. at night. And I have to wake up and do it all over again. So, and that's why the talent factor was that much greater as well, because they worked so much more, they practiced so much more. But just the discipline factor made it leaps and bounds different from public school. But North Alabama, we had a lot of guys that were good. They just transferred to different schools. Kevin Spann went to a different school. I went to a different school.
Right.
We had the Washington brothers back then. I don't know if I know them. Greg Washington, his brothers were twins. They were 6'7". Greg was 6'9". I think he ended up going to Hofstra later.
Crazy.
Raheem Vanderpool stayed there, and he's in the system now coaching. But we had a group, we had a squad, and a lot of people left and went different places because they just didn't trust the public school system to help them get recruited to go to college and the next level. If we all stayed together, who knows what that team would have been like.
I think, Pat, just to add on real quick, I think one of the things that, oftentimes maybe goes unnoticed is Danny's had some really tough coaches, man.
We're going to get into that for sure.
I was going to say.
We're going to get into the coaches because I feel like he's had tough coaches, but he's been blessed too at the same time because it's like to be around some of the coaches he's been around, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Including his dad. Your dad was a tough coach too. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for those guys. There's no way I'd be a professional. Like, just, how New Yorkers are, man. And not all of them are the same, but, find ways to cut corners, find ways to be too cool or too laid back. You know what I'm saying? No real sense of urgency. They coached that right out of me with the quickness. And that was Tim Clues on. And then Coach Williams the same. And Pop, there's no day. I had a string of coaches that helped build me into the professional I am now. And so I've been very blessed. But it's not easy to play for those guys, but it's been a hell of a journey, I tell you.
So was there one person, would you say your dad, but was there one person that was harder than the rest of them?
I think they all prepared me for the next one, if that makes sense. I think mentally challenging, the more mental side of challenging you would probably Pop.
Right.
The more mental, emotional side of things. I was challenged on both of those in college too with Coach Williams. He taught me how to be a man, not just play basketball, but grow up and do things right way. He'd have defensive, offensive thoughts of the day, and he'd have a main thought of the day. You can feed a man. You say you can feed a man a fish, or you can teach a man a fish. Like those type of sayings. Nobody cares who gets the credit when everybody. When everybody wins, it doesn't matter. Basically team principles, team theories, team thoughts of the day. Those little thoughts are things we kept with us forever and taught us how to be not just student athletes, but men. And how to be a teammate, a good player, a good locker room person. But Coach Williams prepared me for all of them. Honestly, he was I reiterate, he was a perfectionist. We did a lot of conditioning too. We did a lot of running up and down. College, we did a lot of conditioning too. So in the pros, we didn't do a lot of conditioning up, and that was more mental than it was physical. But to get all three, all the above, mental, physical, emotional, probably Coach Clues. That was one of my first introductions to what real basketball was. And he prepared me for the next level. So because I went through that, I was able to prepare for Coach Williams. If I didn't be coached by somebody in high school like that, Coach Williams might have been the toughest coach that I ever played for.
Right.
But because each level prepared for the next level, it made it easier or be able to handle the next person.
And you're talking about two staples in basketball, one in college basketball and then one in the NBA. You got Pop and you got Williams. You know what I'm saying? Roy Williams. And it's like those two guys, when you say their names, it rings no matter what age you are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody understands that. And that I was gonna ask the question, obviously the differences, but you answered it for me. The differences between both of them, because not everybody gets to see them from the outside, but you got up close and personal. You got stories and you got different things that other people don't see. One question I do want to ask, because Pop, I feel like he's very out there and he'll say what he wants to say, as far as like, in interviews and stuff like that. But is there anything that when you got to San Antonio that you saw Pop and you were like, man, I didn't expect him to be this way?
No. No, I mean, it just has that aura. When you walk into certain people's rooms or when certain people walk into the room, you can tell what they're about. I think he has that vibe. Pat Riley has that vibe. Certain people when they walk in the room, you're like, oh damn, this guy has an aura about him, and it's, I wouldn't say mob bossish, but it's of that stature. Like
demanding that room.
The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the Godfather walking in, and like they mean business, and you kind of intimidated about him at first, and that doesn't leave because you still are. Throughout your tenure, when you're still being coached by them, you're still intimidated by them, and they have that fear and respect from you. I don't know how it is now with the younger group or how it's changed since I've been gone. I'm sure it has changed with the people that have come through, and in and out of the organization. And younger kids, the league is different. You have to adapt and adjust to.
Right.
But I didn't expect anything less than that fear that those certain coaches, certain people put in you, and that respect factor. It never changed throughout your tenure of being there or when you leave. It's still, and he'll text me to this day, which is dope. And he's kind of like a grandpa. He's great off the court, but on the court, it scares the fucking daylights out of you. You know what I'm saying? That's all of my coaches from high school on. Tim Close too. Like I'm a grown man, but if I had to play I'd be scared. I'm like making sure I'm doing all my P's and Q's and doing things the right way because I don't want to be screamed by those guys. I just remember being yelled at by them, and I just don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So all those coaches put the appropriate fear in their players.
The cool thing about that, Pat. Sorry to interrupt you, Pat, but the cool thing about that, though, I think, is that those kind of coaches, they help build discipline, right? They help instill this sort of mentality in you as a young man, especially, right, coming up in the world. Like these are the right things. This is the way to behave as a grown adult, right? And I feel like maybe in today's NBA, the conversations are a little bit different, right? Guys are making a lot more money very, very quickly, much faster at a younger age, right? Like, I think the conversations are even different, right? And I've seen
media.
Oh man, that adds a whole nother layer of complexity to it. So, but go back to your point about that.
No. I want to get into that more because, Danny, you got into the league, 2000, was it 2009? Or am I? So you got into the league 2009. Now it's just complete different. So I do want to get back to that, but first I want to just talk about you and Jed's relationship. How did y'all meet, and how did all this come about, with the green room and everything like that?
I wanted to tap in on this earlier when Jed was, speaking on if he thought about, this is something he thought like dreamt of doing and always thought he'd be this. But I think Jed is one of those people. Obviously, he's well off, but he's wealthy in people. You know what I'm saying? Like he's good at making connections. He's really great at research, and he's really great at connecting people and connecting the dots and staying in contact with people. And I think that's what makes him adaptable and adjustable. Whatever he wanted to do, he'd be successful at it. So, we met through a mutual friend of mine that I've known since high school. A friend of mine that I went to high school with got kicked out of my high school, went to this other high school at Lawrence Woodmere Academy. Lawrence Woodmere Academy is where Harrison went to. He's my co-host for my podcast Inside the Green Room. And Harrison, did some time in Ohio. And that's how he met Jed, I'm assuming. But yeah, they've known each other for some years. He introduced Jed to me. And from there, you could tell about somebody's energy, how they, move, how they do things the right way, if they're genuine or not. And he, from everybody that's been around him, he's made great impressions and from not just myself, family, friends. They're like, oh, I like that guy. And there's certain guys that like that with my friend group that are similar. Not many, because Jed's a rare breed. But some guys you just, regardless of what they do, we have another friend named Omar. He may not look like anything great, but because of how genuine he is and how great he is as a dude and great energy, they're gonna bring the best out of people, and people are just gonna gravitate towards them and like them. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if they're annoying or not, if they do it, it's like, he has such a great energy, even though this might be annoying. Nothing Jed is, but my other friends might be. And they're like, yo, he's annoying. This guy's fucking, he's great. You know what I'm saying? He's good at what he does. He does all the things. He's always thoughtful. He does stuff for his people. And he's good at connecting dots. He's good at bringing, and keeping in touch with people and doing, he's very well read, does research, and knows how to do a lot of different things. So, yeah, me and Jed met, we've been doing the pod now, 2024. So we started 2018. It's about 6 years coming up. Wow. Met him a little bit before that. So we've known each other for 6 years. It seems longer than that. We've had because Jed's probably closer to me than some of my friends that I've known for 20 years. Well, probably trust him more with handling things than some of my friends I've known for, since middle school, high school, even before then. But yeah, it seems longer than that, even though it's been 6 years. But he's one of those guys that leaves an impression and, makes you feel comfortable and you feel like you've known him for a long time. He just has one of those, energies.
I appreciate you, Danny. You're a kind man, but Pat, don't let him be so humble that he leaves out the fact that Danny invests in people, man, and he's invested in me and trusted me and put me in positions to do the right thing. And I try to lead with that, right? Like I don't take it lightly that people trust me and people look to me to help them make the right decisions in their lives. And for me, I lead with compassion and trust and honesty, right? And I try to let that be how I show up in the world. I'm not perfect, right, like anybody else, but I will say Danny's somebody that also is a really good judge of character, and is able to really look around and say, I need to surround myself with people that are good people. And, he's taking chances on other people as well, right? I mean, we're here with you, having a conversation with you today, right? And looking at, everybody's time here. You could be doing something different. Danny could be doing something different. I could be doing something different. And we chose to all be here together today. So I think that's a testament to Danny investing in other people and showing up for people as well. But yeah, man, I think it's funny, right? Like there's the family you're born with and there's the family you choose, right? And I think the family we choose sometimes can make such a big difference on where we decide to go in the world, right? And how we invest in one another and show up for one another, I think can make a really big difference in, our outcome.
Yeah, 100%. And sad to say is that what Jed brings up is sad to say it's very rare to find people that will, not saying that you can put your trust into or take a risk with and actually takes it serious. You know what I'm saying? It's rare. It's rare to see somebody that say, I take it serious. I say, you put a lot of trust and invest in me. Like you can do that with many other people and it may not come back the same way. There's a lot of failed relationships because of those things. And just doing what you're saying, just showing up and doing what you say you're going to do. It's a lost art in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody does it anymore. And Jed does it, 110%. And that's why people value it and love it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that the world is missing. You don't see many of it.
Yeah. Imagine making $100 million in your career, Pat. That's the type of people that show up at your doorstep.
Listen, man, I want to know what it feels like.
and it's crazy.
I want to know what it feels like.
The people that do show up, it's like, you can't even trust them. That's the crazy part. Like you would think that they would take the job seriously. It's weird, not weird. It's a sad, disappointing thing in our world.
Yeah, and I think the point you said too,
you can't even trust them to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think the point you said too, where you said you only, you trust them more than people that you grew up with. I think that I'm big on that too. Like energy, when you meet somebody, it's sometimes people you've known for only 2 years click more than somebody you've known forever. It's just something that the trust and what it's kind of like what you can pour into somebody. Exactly, like what you show.
I'm saying that speaks volumes in anything. You know what I'm saying? Energy and talking can be great, but if you actually just do what you say you're gonna do, you don't see that with your family most of the time.
That's true.
You don't see it with it could be kids, significant others, uncles, like your closest friends. You're like, damn, I just asked you to do some small things.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't see it. I mean, if somebody actually does, you're like, oh shit, I could trust this guy. And you see a consistency. If you stay consistent in what you're doing and just doing what you're supposed to do, and it's like, I could see, why I can make this guy family. You know what I'm saying? I could keep him around for he's earned his keep, and not just because he does what he's supposed to, but because he is a good person, and we've grown to know each other and become friends actually. But
that's love. That's love though, For real. That's what's
Yeah.
up. I want to jump back a little bit, and I want to get back
Mhm.
into your college career. What was it like to play with people like Tyler Hansbrough and play on a national championship team? What was it like? Give me, and if
Man,
you got a funny story, please share it. I
for
want to hear, because I
sure.
know he's crazy.
No, I miss those days, man. I was just reminiscing recently because I'm actually about to do some some of the college March Madness with Yahoo
Oh, dope.
coming up. So I'll be doing some of the weekends and possibly doing Final Four, depending on if I'm playing or not. But yeah, watching Carolina outright won the ACC, which was dope to see. They had a couple guys, ACC Player of the Year, RJ Davis, big shout out to him, was dope. Hubert Davis, coach of the year in
Yep.
ACC, and they had a couple other honors. Mondo was second team and defensive, and then we had rookie of the year, and then we had another, I think, second team. We had a couple guys racking up, so we racked up some awards this year, which was dope to see Carolina do. And I never thought playing with Tyler that anybody would break his record. And obviously, NIL deals, people staying extra years. Mondo, I guess, got a chance to stay an extra year or so, and broke some of his records. But playing with Tyler, he was intense, man. It was a lot of fun. Made the game easy. Obviously, a different time back then. Ty Lawson, Wayne.
Man,
We had
Ty
Deion Thompson. We
Lawson,
had
that
a
was my
great class.
guy.
We had a great
I
class.
love
Ed
Ty
Davis came off the
Lawson.
bench. Tyler Zello. We had a squad of people, man, that were really good. And I was blessed to share the floor and to also learn from some others, but teach some of them. Most of those guys are behind me, so they have to learn from me. But to share the floor and win a championship with them and be there 4 years, I never take it for granted. I'm glad I stayed all 4. I built a brotherhood there. I built a home there. Now I'm trying to do other things in the community and helping with scholarships. So, it's a school that I got a chance to make an impact on that I never thought I'd be able to make an impact on. People will remember me forever. When Michael Jordan went to school, Vince Carter, like these
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
now are kind of putting my name in these alongside the categories of with these people, which is crazy. I watched these guys when I was growing up and never thought I'd be in any of this conversation with these guys. But people will now recognize me as one of the better out of my class and better Tar Heels to come out of the university because I've had such a great, blissful career with learning from, obviously Tim Clousehurst and Coach Williams, and then being with Pop and able to be in the league for so long, and bring some things back to the community. So it's been a blessing, bro. And it's just when you get a chance to actually sit down and reminisce and think about it, it's mind blowing to see where they have put me in the categories of Tar Heels. And always, every time we play Duke, showing my highlights and stuff like that. It's, the kid in me, brings me back to the times of, watching Vince Carter and Jerry Stackhouse and all those guys, and just can't believe that those are my brothers now. I actually can talk to them, see them all the time. They show love back, and I'm recognized as a good player that's come out of that school, which I never thought I'd be able to do.
Who recruited you? I'm sorry to cut you off, Jen.
I
want to know who recruited you.
Obviously Coach Williams, but I'm gonna go with Coach Rob was assistant coach. Steve Robinson was one of the assistants. I think he was the main one leading the charge of trying to bring me there.
But I mean, other school wise, Danny. I mean, other schools, not just UNC. I mean, like, what other schools were trying to take your services?
Shout out to Coach Rob. He's in Arizona now. I think he's with them. But he was the guy that got me there. Not the only person, but obviously once Coach went to my house, he got me there. But other schools, my top 5, I want to say St. John's was close to home. Pitt was definitely the top 2, like between Carolina and Pitt, because they always recruit a lot of New York guys, and they were good. They had done well a couple years before doing it in a tournament. I thought I could play there and play at be featured there.
Right.
St. John's was close to home, but I didn't know if I wanted to stay home or not. UConn was another one, but they had signed somebody else, and they took the scholarship away because this guy they had to visit. He committed before I could go visit there. And outside of that, NC State was in the top 5. I hate to mention this because they're such a rivalry. Carolina, we hate them now, but they were one of the first schools in the higher D1 to recruit me. So Carolina came later. So my sophomore, junior year, NC State was on board. Carolina came the following year. And once they started recruiting me, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? But NC State was one of the schools, and they were actually recruiting my brother, who almost went to school there, but he had SATs. He had didn't come in time. He also had to go to a prep school because of his grades. And he ended up going to Manhattan College and then transferring to University of San Francisco. But they were up there in the top 5 because they were one of the early ones recruiting me at that level.
Okay, go ahead, Jed. I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's I think kind of crazy too for even me as an outsider to watch Danny grow and become this personality that he is, but also to be close to him and to see him become a father and to see the rest of his friends start to get married and them kind of evolve, past college. It's crazy to see. You're asking Danny for a funny story about Tyler or any of those guys. I got a funny story actually. I'm sure Danny and Tyler won't mind me telling you, but Tyler was one of my favorite, basketball players growing up as well. And so watching him, getting to kind of see him on TV, I was like, this guy's got a really big personality. Like the way he pounds his chest after he scores a crazy point or,
he's intense.
a crazy dunk.
He's intense.
He's intense, right? So we're at Danny's wedding in Houston at the Post Oak Hotel. This is like 2021, Danny, right?
Yes. 3 years ago. Almost 3 years now.
That's right. We're at the reception, and it's kind of hot, right? We're having some drinks, having some champagne, celebrating.
The welcome party. Yeah, this is the welcome party. Yeah.
At the welcome party, and people are starting to kind of fizzle out, head back to their rooms, get ready for the next day or whatever, and suddenly, all of a sudden, you hear and somebody jump in a full suit right into the pool that's outside at the welcome party.
Yeah, it wasn't available pool. It wasn't like people were swimming in the pool. It was just part
Nobody
of
was swimming.
Oh, just the ambiance.
Yeah, it's like that type of pool. Like it was not that type of pool. It was just like one of those, pools that's just there for show to look at.
Oh, that's crazy.
And somebody dared him or bet him, that he wouldn't do it, and he did in his suit, in his full outfit, jumped in right before the end of the party.
Yeah.
And he asked me first before. He's like, "Do you mind if I jump in the pool?" It's like, we got a bet thing going. I said, "Hey man, do you think? I don't care. This ain't my hotel."
He changed though, right? Please tell me he changed. He ain't sitting there with that suit.
He ended up going home by that point. He probably the next day was the wedding, so he changed for the wedding the next day. But I think he was calling it a night after that. He jumped in the pool, called it a night, and went back.
It was comedy, mind you. This is my first time meeting this guy, right? Like, and then suddenly 20 minutes later, as we're on the way out, he's like, I hear, and then he jumps in the pool. He's like pounding his chest.
Yeah, on his stars and stuff.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, he always looked like that type of guy. Like, the emotion that he left on the court.
Yeah, he's Tarzan for sure.
Yeah. So I know we have right. I know we have a little short time left, so I kind of want to go through rapid questions with you, Danny, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I kind of want to start with the finals against LeBron. Actually, before that, let's go rookie year with LeBron. What was it like rookie year with LeBron?
A lot of fun, man. Your rookie year is always an eye opener. The guys that you look up to, these guys that you're starstruck from. It takes you a year to kind of get that out of your system. Like, I'm guarding Kobe, I'm guarding so-and-so, it's Melo, and actually play basketball. But learning and watching and being around and sharing a locker room with Shaq, LeBron,
oh yeah,
like
Shaq
those
was the
guys.
team.
Yeah, big kids having fun and partying and playing and winning games. I was just a sponge. I was a little disappointing at times that I didn't play at all. A lot of times I was in a suit. I didn't know there were like inactive players, and I'm like, wait, what? I got to get a sport coat. But I always worked out every day. But I got a chance to hang around and kick it with them, and I had a bunch of stories to tell. And they always looked. And I was the only rookie, so I had to do a lot of rookie duties. So I got bullied a little bit, but it was fun, man. It was fun.
Shaq pulled a prank on you at all? Ever?
All the time.
I hear too many Shaq stories. I know he's a prankster. So.
He's a 7-foot Dennis the Menace, man. I don't know if you know much. So that's what he is. That's what he does. All day.
I heard he'd be running around naked and all that shit.
He pledged, so he knows all the punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like when pledges, they do all
the hazing.
The hazing. He does all the hazing and the weird stuff that they come up with. He knows all of that stuff. So yeah, and I actually during that time I'd have to greet them a certain way, as if I was pledging. So like I would be, I'd be greeting them a certain way, and if I would mess up, we use a paddle, but they would use like the what's the name? It's like a little cushion, a little heavy, like weapon, little basketball, cushion.
The paddle things. I know somebody you train.
Yeah, they mess with me. They would mess with me sometimes, But because that's how Shaq operates. So I had to greet them, and I was pretty much pledging when I was with them.
Shaq crazy. Let's go to the NBA Finals against LeBron James the first time. That's a tough NBA Finals to talk about. I know Game 7. What was that
Game
like?
6.
Just battling. Yeah, Game 6. I don't even want to bring up Game 6. But what was it like battling against that Miami Heat team that first go around?
It was a kid's dream to go be on that stage and play against your idols and do well. We had a great series. And obviously, he was a teammate of mine at one point, but you watch him all the time. You idolize these guys. D Wade, one of the best shooting guards ever played the game. Chris Bosh, and this is a team that everybody expects to lose to, and we're playing them. It's like we we could have won. We should have won. You know,
I'm
we
not gonna lie.
missed a
I'm
couple
not gonna
free
lie to
throws.
you,
We
Danny.
should
You
have
should
won.
have.
Could have beat them. We beat them the
Yeah.
following year, luckily. But to be on that stage and play against your idols and that intense on that floor and with the bright lights, man, it's all you dream of as a kid, and be able to make shots and be able, you're in your driveway making these moves, this, that, and other. So it was intense, and I don't think you realize the magnitude of it until you're out of it. You're just so caught up in the moment.
Absolutely.
Which Pop was great at doing that. He never let us get too affected by the lights, the media, things like that, and just made us so focused on doing our job and him and showing up that we didn't even realize like this. We're just trying to win. Trying to win games and we do our job. Like when I'm thinking about the opponent, and he brought the best out of us in doing that. And later on, like I realized a couple months later, like, man, that was the NBA Finals. Like I'm watching. I think I was in a cabin somewhere in Canada, and they're replaying like the finals from the '90s. I think it was like Chicago when Mike was playing Charles Barkley or something like that. I'm like, they're gonna play this shit forever. You know what I'm saying? Like this is something that I just played on that stage. It's kind of crazy, and I'm like, damn. And my friends were like, you're just not realizing that? And it's like 3 months ago. And I'm like, yeah, it's just love. Like I could have won MVP. I could have there's a lot of things that could have happened. I was like, damn, that's crazy. I just played the NBA final. So it was surreal, man. It was a very surreal moment. Both times, every time, but the first two times for sure. The first time definitely, and the second time to go and win it the second time was unbelievable.
And you dominated the second go around. I mean, honestly, you
our
guys
team did really well. We played well. We had a chip. Yeah, we had a chip on our shoulder, and we played really good basketball. And we got our get back basically. They got us the first time, and we knew we had to be perfect in our P's and Q's and beat them because they were a really good team. And we couldn't give them any light because if we gave them any light, we knew that they would take advantage of it and somehow creep back into the series.
What was Tim, Manu, and Parker like? What were they like as teammates? Were they all different? Did they all teach you something different, or were they a lot the same?
They're all from different places. They are very different, but they all under the same umbrella. So they're descendants of Pop. They're very intense. But Timmy, greatest teammate I have by far. Manu's probably a close second. But Timmy by far, because he's such a superstar, but doesn't act like it. You would never know. He doesn't.
Yeah, for real.
He's humble, no ego. Manu didn't really need to be coached because he was so intense with himself, but very open-minded, very risky player. Did some flashes, but didn't mind, just playing free and having fun. Tony was the point guard. French is a little different. I wouldn't say stubborn, but he's the one that yells at you to execute. Make sure you're executing. So they all taught us and coached us differently or talked to us differently. But they played their part extremely well, and there's a reason why we were so successful. Reason why they're so successful. But they made the game easier for us and allowed us to become really successful. But how they talked to us, I played in front of Manu, but I also learned from playing the same position. Played with Tony, I had to learn and help Tony also learn how to execute. And Timmy was just great, man. He just encouraged you and was positive. Told you small little things, but he was setting screens for me and passing me the ball as if I was Tim Duncan. It was just a crazy thing.
You was though. I mean, you weren't Tim Duncan, but you were so key to those series, man. Like
you know what I'm saying, Timmy, you're the superstar here. You don't have to set screens. He did a lot of things he didn't have to do,
right?
And defer to people. He just only cared about was winning, and that just instilled a lot of other great things in me to be able to carry on through my career.
Absolutely. Let's go to Toronto. Playing with Kawhi, that year winning and beating the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, they lost KD with the torn Achilles. But what was that like, just winning that championship away from San Antonio in Toronto? And then after that, what made your decision easy to go to LA?
It didn't make it easy. Well, winning was great, man. Because obviously wanted to win with KD on the floor. Clay had tore his knee at that time too, so they both went down. Clay went down the last game. We never want to win that way, but to win a championship outside of San Antonio was an unbelievable achievement because nobody thought that we could be successful, let alone win a championship outside of that system. For us and Kawhi to do it within 1 year in another system was extremely satisfying. And winning it for a country that never experienced before, unbelievable. They still treat us like kings, man. It'll forever be a home, and I'll be connected to all the cities that you win one in, you're connected to. But Toronto, they show so much love. San Antonio, of course. But making the decision to go to LA, which is the home as well, they're a little bit spoiled. They have way more championships than other groups.
Big spoiled.
It wasn't that hard of a decision to make. And it wasn't easy, but I did want to run it back. I wanted to get back to Toronto, but they let it be known that they couldn't bring everybody back. And once Kawhi made his decision, it made it pretty easy for everybody else. Trickle down. Also, when Bron, AD, and they signed everybody else, it was like, all right, they got AD. Lakers could be a good spot. and this could be an opportunity to win another championship. And they started signing a bunch of pieces, veterans for cheap, and it was like, yeah, we got all the pieces we need. And with Golden State having injuries, you know, it was pretty much, let's say, a clear path, but you know, we were the favorites, you know, by far outright, especially with Kawhi leaving Toronto and going to the Clippers. I knew it was going to take them some time. They were a good team too. The Clippers was a good team. They got Paul George, but we knew Toronto couldn't bring everybody back. And I loved Toronto. I did want to go back and run it back, but you know, it wasn't possible with the cap space.
Toughest championship, was it the bubble? Was that the toughest
100%.
championship to win?
Yeah, 100%. Mentally, emotionally, physically too. I mean, people say we're just, but like we were playing every other day. I feel like when I got out of there, I was beat up. You know what I'm saying? My body was. Yeah, I needed a full reset on my body. So all the above, more so mentally, emotionally, just being in a space for 100 days, no matter how nice it is, it's just tough to, you know, get out of your own head. It's tough to have fresh air, or you be in your own space or mind space, and it's just challenging. It's mentally challenging, no matter how long you've been on this earth, no matter how, you know, many things you've been through in your life. It's a different type of challenge that nobody's used to, and it's gonna wear on you.
You had no escape from the game. You
Right.
were eating, breathing, sleeping basketball all day, every day. At least back in the day, it was the only thing going on.
So everybody was criticizing it. So everything you did, people watching everything you do in the social media, the media is heavy on you, with being in this space that you can't leave.
Yeah. No, that finals, the whole playoff run was crazy. It was crazy just to have to go into that bubble and do what you guys did and be able to pull that out against all the competition that you had to face. And like you said, every other day you playing, there was no travel days and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, I always tell people, I hate when people say like, "Oh, that's a bullshit championship." Like, no, that's not a bullshit championship. Those dudes had to hoop. Like, there's no crowd. It's just you hooping.
To each his own, man. Everybody has their opinion, so they can believe what they want to believe.
But you was there. There's a difference.
For sure.
You know,
my opinion is mine. And a lot of people that were there may agree or may not. So I mean, so to each his own. But to me, it's the hardest one for sure, by far, mentally and emotionally challenging.
2 more quick questions, then we're out of here. Kind of fun in a way. Starting a franchise right now, I have this debate with a lot of people. Who would you rather have, SGA or Luka? Yeah, I had this battle.
That's a tough one, man. I'm honestly going with Anthony Edwards.
Come on.
I'm gonna go. If I had to start,
that's not one of the choices, though.
I'm gonna go with Shea.
Thank you.
I think because Luka's the better player right now, but I think Shea has potential to be better, and I think he just looks younger. I think they're the same age, but actually Shea's a little bit younger, but he just seems like he might have a longer career, a longevity. Luka seems. I'm not saying he's aging, but like the way he moves his body, he's not as athletic. I feel like he just plays like an older man's game, which makes him seem like he's older. But I think Shea has more potential, the ceiling to be, and obviously he's leading that OKC team to a top spot right now, which is unbelievable. He's MVP this year, but you can't go wrong with either. I like both their games. I think I like Shea with the longevity. I think he may have a longer career in that aspect.
I love watching him play, man. He's honestly my favorite player to watch right now.
He's smooth, man. He's smooth.
Super
he's really
smooth. Getting you 30 by attacking you all game. Shooting threes every here and there, but
he ain't making no friends. He's going right through your chest. He's about it, and he loves to win. He loves to learn. You can tell. I've just heard stories about how eager he is to be better. And that goes a long way. But Luka, don't sleep. Luka ain't no fucking.
Oh no, hell no. Luka's great.
I just think that Shea is showing that he's in the short amount of time. Not saying that they're both not winners, but I think he's just a little bit more like him to be able to make that team win that fast. There's something special about him. Like Luka still has to prove like he's can bring his team to be a winner. They both do. They both need to prove it. But I think what Shea is doing this year is showing a lot.
2 champions. Who would you rather have leading your team? Jokic or Giannis?
As a player or as a coach?
No, not as a coach. As a player. If you had just plug him in and this guy is going to give me another, let's just go 10 years.
Who would you rather have? I'm going to play with this person? Like if I'm a player,
if you're playing with
so you can't go wrong with either one of them. I think I would rather go with Jokic. I think he's a really good passer. I think Giannis is too, and he's attacking. I think I would get open looks with either one of them. But I think Jokic is just something special, man, with that his ability to see the floor and how he makes some of his passes, and I think he makes the game easier. You know, for his teammates, he gets some very good looks.
Jed and DG, before we get out of here, I just want for you guys just to tell everybody kind of what the future holds for both of you guys, if you kind of see that right now, and then we'll get out of here.
Go ahead, Jed.
Yeah, I think, you know, Danny and I are building a couple different businesses. We're investing in a bunch of really great entrepreneurs and trying to support the things that they're trying to accomplish as innovative business people. So that's one aspect of what we're doing. On the media side, obviously, you know, we're continuing to do our pod and just share good stories with the world and continue to inspire people and share more about the game of ball. You know, family side, obviously, you know, looking to continue building and supporting my family and building a community of people that we can trust and respect and pour into. But you know, wherever good God takes us, man. Danny?
Yeah, I mean, right now for me, coming up next is seeing if I can sneak back in, man. Hopefully get another opportunity to hoop. But in the meantime, doing some media stuff. You know, might see me on a panel with ESPN, TNT, wherever. I mean, Yahoo. I'm doing different stuff, so I'm branching out to that. But figuring out, you know, what the next steps are career-wise. Nothing that I have to do it, but I would love to, you know, find the next thing. And you're just doing the dad stuff right now, hanging out with the little one.
Yeah, man, nothing like it.
Him, and, you know what I'm saying, and doing the family thing. But you know, for the most part, it's just enjoying my time with him, and then, you know, figuring out the next steps of either playing again, if not playing, and maybe doing some media. You'll see me on the sideline somewhere.
That's dope. Listen, I just want to say, truthfully, you guys just obviously, I don't know you guys like that. Obviously, I've seen Danny play for a while, but you two come off as very genuine people, great people, and I'm truly honored to have both of y'all on this pod because your energy, like I said, you didn't have to, and I really, really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, man. Because at the end of the day, I enjoy genuine people, I enjoy real people, and like Jed said, we all have stuff we have to do, you know, but we all took our time out, man. So I just want to say thank you to you guys for real.
For sure, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Pat. And we can feel the
Always.
same way about you, man. It's clear you're a genuine dude too. So thank you for allowing us to be on here with you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
always,
good
man.
luck
Stay in
with
contact,
the
man.
rest
Much
of the
love.
way, man.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
Good
Appreciate you, man.
Good luck the rest of the way,
man. All right,
All right.
Yep.
Read, rate, subscribe, review. You know the drill.
Yes, exactly. Another episode of the Coach Style Podcast, man. We out of here. Thank you.
Peace. Thank you, Pat.